Facebook people, stop acting like you're in middle school. Hey, welcome to the channel. Hope you like what you hear. If you do, leave a comment, like this video, share this video, subscribe if you got the time. Real quick story. A&W back in the 1980s wanted to compete with McDonald. So they came up with the 1/3 pound cheeseburger, hamburger, whatever it was. And they were offering it at a lower price than McDonald's for their 1/4 pounder cheeseburger. You want to know why it failed? People didn't know that a 1/3 pound is bigger than a 1/4 pound. Sometimes people are just not the brightest. All right. Number one, when you're on Facebook and you want to make a scientific or political statement, don't just use one or two examples. I see this all the time. Somebody's on there, they show this clip of this interaction happening. See, I told you it's an epidemic. Well, now, hold on now. That's one example, two examples out of how many? How do you know that's the entire story? Yeah, sure, it illustrates your point, and I can see that there is an issue there. For sure there's an issue there. That's what you illustrated. But is it a huge issue? Is it what you're making it out to be? Is that the normal or the average or what normally happens? How do we know from one or two examples? I mean, you throw 10 out there too, but I mean, how many examples are we talking about? Are we talking about out of millions of interactions? Right? We see this also, one example, some churches shut down based off of fear because they heard of this one church back in this other state halfway across the United States, and they had an issue. So we're going to shut down our church for that reason. Well, that's based off fear, because how do you know that that wasn't the exception to the rule? How do you know that that's the norm or what's going to happen here? You don't, because you're not looking at all the evidence involved. So one of the problems is that part to whole fallacy. We're taking one little example and we're applying it to the entire story. It doesn't make up the entire story. There's a lot more details to the story. So on Facebook, remember, if you're only going to use one or two examples, you're not proving your point. You're not doing anything. You might be pointing to an issue that could or could not happen, but without the rest of the story, how are your readers, your friends, how should they take it? Another thing I see a lot is on Facebook, we'll quote this specialist or this expert or this government official or this doctor. Just one. And mind you, this person just made a statement. So all you're doing is you're parroting back the statement that that guy made. How do you know he's right? Did he have evidence to back up his statement? Because I know you don't have any evidence to back up your statement. You're using what could be a faulty appeal to authority. I mean, this dude might know what he's talking about, but how do you know unless any evidence is provided? And when somebody asks you for that evidence, you just say, see, this guy said it. Well, that didn't prove your point. It just proved that you can parrot what somebody else says. So if you're going to make a point, a scientific point, let's back that up with some evidence and not just make just blanket statements because we feel like it or it sounds good or makes sense to me. Again, how do you know? All right, and I do want to throw out a how do you know when to respond to somebody type thing. And this comes from the Bible. Now, it's the Dow International version. Here it is. It's Proverbs 23:9. Don't reply to trolls. They'll just call you names anyhow. If you like this video, please feel free to leave a like, share this video, subscribe to the channel. There's more videos to come. I appreciate you watching. Thanks.